What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my walkthrough for the challenges of Duels of the Planeswalkers 2013. We are still with Say Your Praetors. We've been saying our prayers all week long. Today we're going to be taking on the Black Praetor Sheoldred. Sure, why? Sheoldred. Whatever. They're made-up words, you guys. Made-up words. And we're going to be taking on this crazy cat today. Just like every day, just killing Praetors. That's basically our job at this point. Just walk into town, blow into town, you know, they're like, yeah, here you got a Praetor problem. People are like, yeah, we got them. They're all over the place. We got Praetors of every color, all over the place. And we're just like, oh, we'll kill them real quick for you. So here we go, let's take a look at what we're taking on today. It's going to be the Whispering one. She's going to make a sack a guy at the beginning of each of our upkeeps. And at the beginning of his next turn, he's going to get a guy from the graveyard. That's pretty terrible. I really don't like her being out on the field. Other people that have an effect are going to be the White Praetor still, because, and I've been forgetting to mention this, when we don't kill the White Praetor, this card is useless. Because I did that once. I was like, Spark Elemental, and he immediately gets neg2, and just hits the yard. Like, he'll hit the table, he'll touch the table, he grazes the table, and then he slams into the friggin' yard like it's his day job. So he's pretty useless when we don't kill the white one. So it's pretty basic. It's basically a dead card. We got 8 though, so we got cards for days. We don't really have to worry about that. Creatures we do have to worry about. Vorinclex, he's still tapping down our mana. He's gonna tap down our mana every time. Urabrask is still keeping our creatures from entering the battlefield untapped. So that's pretty sad times as well. Like I said, we got the Black Praetor over there. We got Baneslayer Angel right here. She's neg2, sadly, which does have flying lifelink and first strike, which is pretty important. In our hand, we have our go-to cards for Praetor slaying. We got Brute Force and Giant Growth. They're basically going to be how we take on any Praetor that is bigger than 6 in the ass. It's basically the only card combination that we have that'll kill them. We already took on the white one, so we don't really have to worry about that card for removal, but Veteran's Reflexes is pretty important in most of these. +1/+1, untap that creature. We're going to be seeing play from Paralytic Feedback at some point in today's episode. And we've got a couple other cards, but we don't really have to worry about them either. Let's go ahead and move into the attack step, get this show on the road. Anytime Jason's ready. Jason's, there he is. He's coming in. He's ready. He wanted to think about it. We froze time on him. He was like, oh, what's he thinking of? He's got friggin' responses. So that was a little quick for you, but that's basically the only way we can take this guy down is to go up to 9 and strike him. So that's how we will kill the Black Praetor right there. Go out. I don't know what ability it tries to trigger right there, to be honest with you. This game flashes and twinkles and lights up all sorts of crazy times. He's playing Thought Scour on us. He gets to draw a card, and we have to put the top 2 cards. We basically mill 2 cards down in our deck. So there you go. We go through a couple of pretty awesome cards, actually. We'll be seeing that, or we saw that last time, actually. It's a sweet card. Anyway, never mind. I got just like it's kind of hard to keep all these Praetors straight, to be honest with you. Okay, so we look pretty happy right now. We're pretty excited. We're sitting here. We're like, oh. In case anybody was wondering from yesterday's episode, that's how we drew that card at that point. It's because he didn't draw 7 more cards. I didn't talk about it this time, but maybe a couple people thought it was weird that we got a card that we don't usually get. We don't usually get that card because the blue Praetor is out. He draws 7 cards, he regrips 7 cards, and he makes us mill that every single time. He's kind of a jerk, but whatever. So we're looking pretty good right now. We're like, okay, swinging for 3, he can't block. You know, we pause time, we're just like, Veteran's Reflex is lethal. Suck it, I would say, as I slam it on the table. And he would say, I'll suck nothing, because he has got responses. He's got Leaf Arrow. Leaf Arrow deals 3 damage to target creature with flying. This is an excellent example of the stack, actually. It's pretty much, Say Your Praetor's best example of the stack, I would say. It's kind of a complicated one. So basically what happens is I play Veteran's Reflexes, and essentially how the stack works is Veteran's Reflexes is going to hit the table, it's going to trigger. Okay, but trigger and resolve are two very different things. Now, once a card starts to resolve, there's nothing on this earth that can stop it from resolving. Resolving has to do a lot in how cards resolve and interact with each other, has a lot to do with something called priority, which I have touched on in earlier walkthroughs. If you want to delve into priority more, we won't really cover it in this walkthrough. Maybe that would really be its own series almost. Priority is very complicated. It's kind of the backbone of the game, really. It's one of the core mechanics that the game was built on from its inception. But basically, for this instance, all we have to know is how instants work, and that priority is going to allow anything that's resolving to completely finish resolving once it's done. It's not a huge deal in this game ever, because the game handles that kind of thing, but if you play in real life, or if you're a casual player, or if you're just at all interested in it, priority is definitely something that you might want to look into. Maybe not if you're casual, if you just want to have fun with it, but it is a huge rule in the game. That's a complete aside, has really nothing to do with what's going on here. Basically what's going to happen is this card is going to come down, it's going to trigger, but it's not going to give our creature +1/+1 because he plays an instant which also goes onto the stack. And it is a last in, first out type of deal, which means that this 3 damage is going to resolve before I give my creature +1/+1. So Leaf Arrow is going to kill Baneslayer Angel. My card will not have a target, so it's going to hit the yard as well. And we are just going to be all types of shades of sad because we just lost that challenge. So you have to go ahead and restart this challenge one more time. This one is double your pleasure. We get to go through it twice. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good challenge just because it demonstrates the stack so well right there. Maybe not if you're just trying to muddle through it for your first time ever playing the game, but it is a pretty good representation of the stack. So he's once again going to attack in on us at some... He takes a sweet time. He makes us sweat it. He's kind of a jerk. We're going to attack, or we're going to defend the Black Praetor. We're going to power up our guy, get him up to 9. There's that. We've got first strike, so we're going to go ahead and kill him, gain our 9 life. Here comes the most important part, okay, you guys? Here's what's going to happen. He gets to grip up his 7 cards. He's going to play his instant, and this is where the entire game changes, because we have to be thinking 30 steps ahead at this point. Now, in a real game scenario, would I ever do this? Probably not, because I'm looking at lethal on the board. I really don't have a reason to tap down all my mana for, like, absolutely nothing at all. But we are going to take a look at this just a second and see what he's got going on, because we do have paralytic feedback. Now I think I said we were gonna see play for this card, or we're gonna see something. We're just gonna talk about this card a little bit. Paralytic feedback would deal damage to target spell's controller equal to that spell's converted mana cost. Now what that would do, that would deal 1 damage to him, that'd take him down to lethal, but that's not actually going to kill him, and we still don't have the mana to play Veteran's Reflexes, so we are gonna let ourselves get milled still. It's just that you have to be thinking about those kinds of things. We are going to draw a card here, though. And that card is the same card we always draw. It's Sizzle. So this is really where this particular challenge takes a turn and becomes a lot more interesting, because we know what his response is going to be. Now, this isn't really a fair scenario or situation, but we do know what his response is going to be. So basically what we should have done at this point, when we just swung in with our Baneslayer Angel, is we cast Sizzle. That's going to take him down to 1 life. That means that Baneslayer Angel is lethal damage. Because if we just attacked in with Baneslayer Angel, there would be no reason for him to use Leaf Arrow, because Leaf Arrow at that point would just save him from... I mean, he's going to win next turn, because our creature will tap down. He's swinging in for about 8 times the amount of freaking life that we have. So there's absolutely no reason for him to try and kill our creature with Leaf Arrow, because if he tried to do it, we could reverse the order of the stack, essentially, that took us down last time, where he plays Leaf Arrow, we play Veteran's Reflexes. It'll be a 4/4 when Leaf Arrow activates. The only reason he would do that is to be a dick, so we can't really put him on that play. Playing Sizzle is perfect in this scenario, though, because that means that he has to play Leaf Arrow, and we have responses. We are the ones with responses this time. So he goes ahead, plays Leaf Arrow, Veteran's Reflexes comes down, makes our creature a 4/4. untaps it too, just gravy on top. And we go ahead and kill Jace. 4 damage, a little bit of overkill, there. That's basically how to tackle that challenge. I know there was a lot of exposition in this episode. There's a lot of information that you might not necessarily needed, but basically it's just important to realize how the stack works in this one. That you can flip the stack actually if he was to play Leaf Arrow before we played Veteran's Reflexes, and kind of to make us realize that we should never assume we've won. Because looking back on that turn earlier, we probably should have played Sizzle the first time anyway, because we had the mana open to make our Baneslayer Angel lethal as well. So that probably is the right play, no matter how you look at it. Sizzle's almost always going to be the right play right there, just because it takes him down to 1, it puts the pressure on, he has to have some kind of response or he dies the Baneslayer Angel. So really that is the best way to tackle that challenge right there. So we did make kind of a small mistake, but it's one that I would almost make every time, because I don't really overkill when I take someone down. But in that instance, and in most instances, it's smart to really put the pressure on your opponent if you can. We had the mana open for it, we should have done it, and that's how we won. Anyway, I hope this episode helped you out. I know it was a lot. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, be sure to check out my channel. But even if you don't do that, I want to thank you for stopping by today, and I will see you tomorrow.